Mental health and sports therapy go hand in hand, and it's very, very important. So let's get into it.
The next step then, you got injured, right? So then what's next? So I'm not an expert on sports psychology or anything like that, but I definitely combed through the research and tried to find the most important factors that kind of stood out in the research when it comes to injury and rehabilitation and recovery. So what the research is telling us is that there are qualities and characteristics that make for a more positive experience when coping with injury. And I'll be focusing on two components that really stood out to me. And what do you think are those two things that have the best impact? And we talked about it a little bit earlier.
I don't know, maybe creating a goal.
Mindset,
okay.
That's one of them.
I don't know, what's the next one?
And the second one is social support.
Oh, yeah.
So actually one of the biggest, I guess the most cited factor when it comes to sport injury and rehabilitation is having a support system. So we found that athletes, let's say we were both injured, if you have a supportive network of people, family, friends around you, you're more likely to have a more positive recovery. So Definitely. Let's say even if and it doesn't mean that you won't be experiencing depression or anxiety or anything like that. You are, of course, still going to experience those things. But the fact that you have social support means that you're going to cope better. You're going to have more people around you so that you don't feel isolated. You don't feel alone. Yeah. You'll have more resources to help you cope with this. So the research is essentially saying those with social support tend to do better than athletes that don't have as much social support. And then in addition to that, I think another kind of caveat or to add another layer to it is you may have 1 million people around you, and it's not the amount of people, but it's about the quality of those relationships. So even if you have tons of people, if you don't find those relationships to be supportive or helpful and promoting your recovery, then those effects disappear. So it really is about the quality and the amount of support that you have in your relationships that'll help for your recovery.
Definitely, yeah, and I for sure. My parents are obviously going to support me, you know. But I think from an immigrant standpoint, their support is not the same as for me or many other first generations. And everybody with, immigrant parents will understand that. In my case, it was hard you go through the first injury and they're like another one, type of thing. Not like, oh, damn it. Okay. All right, we got to go through this again. Let's do it, type of mentality. No, it's like, no, they care like, oh, another injury, whatever. Geez, talking about career and all this stuff, and it kills you mentally, it just adds more stress, and so you're like we talked about, you're more likely to not recover as well.
And probably I'm wondering if it may even have caused some shame or embarrassment about the injury, like maybe you felt like it was your fault or you felt bad about getting it.
Exactly. Like, do you understand? Like, yeah. It's not just them. It's like, imagine like you have family members around you and they're telling you like your bones are so weak or some BS like that, like, even though it has like nothing to do with my bones. It's just like, first one was a bad fall, not like you just can't control it. The second one is just like, your body is your body. It just gives out for what we're discussing. We're trying to learn and understand this stuff, right? And so I mean, it's just when you have this like support around you, like you said, all this many support, but you're not getting that quality support, it's gonna affect you. And it affected me after the second one. I'm just like, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe my body did this again, type of thing. And it sucked. It sucked.
So what would you have liked how would you have liked your family to respond to you?
I don't know. I mean, the thing about injuries, especially what I've been through, it's like you just want somebody to understand, and no one's going to understand. Deanna kind of understands me, you know? Yeah, Deanna kind of understands me because she just broke her collarbone. And so, you know, we had the same surgeon. We kind of went through the same process. So that was the one thing when I talked to her about, you know, about what was like in our previous video, is don't expect anyone to understand because they're not. And I had to accept that. And so that's kind of like what I put in my head. And I don't expect anything from them, and I don't have an expectation. This is how I want them to be. And I can't think of it like that because it's just going to mess with me, you know? And like, yeah, there is like a utopia where I want them to be supportive in a way where, I don't know, like, you know, just be patient, be patient with me. You know, if don't like get upset if I don't want to do something. Don't get upset because I don't want to drive. If I don't want to do this or if I don't want to do that, you know. But I'm not going to expect that. I'm not going to expect anybody to understand. You know, and
that probably makes the process so lonely. Also,
100%.
That no one understands.
100%. Feeling lonely is definitely one of those hard things. When you go through something like this, you definitely feel lonely because you're never going to have anybody that truly understands you, you know, and what you're going through. Obviously, you're going to have few people like Deanna who's going to understand the process and understand that kind of stuff, so you can relate and it feels comfortable. But like the full understanding of your personal and all that kind of stuff, they're never going to fully understand, right? And I like so the biggest thing for me is I think the person who kind of was a little bit more understanding at first, like when I went through my shoulder in the beginning, was my ex-girlfriend. And she was like supportive and a little bit more patient. But over time, and I don't expect anybody to, you know, continue their patience with me, right? Like I don't have expectations anymore, like, you know, but they're human. Everyone's human. They're going to get sick and tired of it. Like, no, why don't you drive? Or no, why don't you do that? You know what I mean? And I get it. I understand. But I don't want that kind of negative energy around me. So I'll try to avoid it, or you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here. Like, I don't want to explain myself every time. I don't want to have to explain myself every single time. You know what I mean? And that actually created an issue and a rift, you know, in my relationship in a way, right? Is because I had this like mental block with myself, and it was like my personal issues and everything going on within me and my injuries and stuff, right? So over time it kind of built up. So when you start feeling the support to fade away, you're kind of getting into that lonely phase, and you know what I mean? It all makes sense. Everything that you're saying, it all makes sense. So it sucks. It sucks, but like I said, the coping comes with just giving it time and, you know, just tackling it head on and just, you know, that's how I've always been with all my problems, you know?
And I think that may be, I guess, a disappointing part of this is that, like you said, no one may understand. And so part of building that support system, it may be seeking out people that have similar injuries. So even by you making this video, those people that have suffered similar injuries, they can watch this and they can feel supported by you. They can feel like finally someone gets what I went through, and finally someone can kind of guide me through the process. And so I'm glad that you and Deanna got a chance to connect in that way. Yeah. Because like I knew as soon as she told me, I'm like, damn, like, okay. I know exactly, like, you know, how I would have like wanted somebody who understood, who's like a friend of mine, you know, to kind of approach it in a way and all that kind of stuff, right? So I think that I kind of did what I hoped somebody would have done for me, right? If they knew or understood even a little bit. But no, so I actually made videos of my shoulder in the beginning. I just kind of like, okay, like I got over those like super fast, you know, and I wanted to focus like a lot on PT. I don't want to get distracted and stuff. I was just so like tunnel visioned, right? So I stopped making those videos, or at least stopped like posting them. So those videos that I made, random people are still hitting me up, but one guy from the East Coast hit me up, and I've been in contact with him since. He actually came to LA to see my doctor. I don't know what ended up happening with him. I haven't spoken to him in a few months, like right before you know, the pandemic and stuff hit. So it's just that felt nice. You know, like giving people that
kind of, you know, that positivity, like it will get better. Like there are options. You have options. You know, don't feel like stressed out and scared and all that stuff, especially with shoulders, because it's kind of a gray area depending on what your injury is.
Yeah, I mean, you see there just the power of connecting with someone over a topic like this.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, he's just like thank you so much. Like, you know, like it's, you can feel like, and I understand him. I understand him so much where he's at, and. Like before this, like if this never happened to me, like I wouldn't talk to some random person about you know, something like that. But these are life lessons. It teaches you these things, you know. Like you have to understand people. You have to understand what they're going through. And I think once you start clearing out your head from all the BS, you're able to truly understand somebody more. I mean, it helps you in the long run.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I would say, you know, caregivers or family members and friends, just really try to be compassionate, try to be empathetic. Don't impose any judgment on someone's injury or the way that they're recovering. Each person will recover in their own way. So, for example, with Deanna's recovery, we really just wanted her to take the lead and us kind of just follow her. So rather than saying, let me do this for you, it's, what do you need from me right now? You know, whether it be just adjusting her pillow or helping her use the restroom or whatever, you know, just letting her dictate how we support her. So I think that may be one thing that caregivers or family members that are caring for someone that's injured, just ask them what they need. You know, how can I support you? What can I do for you today? Rather than trying to judge them or shame them or make them feel bad about their injury.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have made it this far, I highly appreciate it. I definitely think that these topics are very important. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Our IG information is down below. Hit us up, DM us on Instagram, Leanne or me. And if you do have any advice, or if you would seek some advice in certain ways, if you've been injured, ACL injury, AC joint separation, whatever it may be, even mental health and how to deal with it, I think it's very important. Definitely hit me up. I'm always, you know, open to hearing different stories and, you know, helping everybody out however I can. So anything positive, comment down below. Hit the like button down below. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take it easy.